Okay, let me know how many of you have attended the last demo sessions. Okay, in case not, then let me continue from there only. In the last class, we were talking about what is network, what is communication. That was just the demonstration. So from there only, I'll continue today. So it means it will be a repeat or it will be a revision of that particular session. And because that is the first topic which we need to cover there in the CCNA. Right? So if you remember that we have to cover the CCNA certification program. So when we look at the CCNA certification program, the first component of it is networking fundamental. So when we touch the networking fundamental, initially we need to talk about what is network, what is communication, what are the network elements, what are the network components, right? So all these things we need to talk about, and then we need to start working towards the network devices. So when we are moving towards the network devices, so what devices we have discussed there in the component as an first 1.1 topic, that the same we will be continuing with the detail or depth introduction of each and every device there in the 1.2 part, right? So as of now, I was not writing anywhere. I was just speaking, so I'll start writing somewhere in the chat window, or I'll open a notepad. I'll start writing over there so that you can even though have a look at my screen as well, right? So let me open a notepad and I'll be sharing my screen with you. So once it is visible, just any one of you, just let me know that it is visible and you can see my notepad screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Perfect.
visible.
Okay, thank you. Right. So as I told you that the first main topic when we are starting with the network certification program, that is what? Network fundamentals. So I'm writing over here, that is the network fundamental. Right. So within this network fundamental topic, so we have many small topics available. So the major topic is what? The network fundamental, wherein we have various small topics. So when we start with various small topics, the first thing which I told you that we need to understand what is network, right? So this is the first thing. Then even though before knowing what is network and its component, we should understand what exactly is the communication. Why do we build network, right? So what is it? Before that, we need to say that why it is required. So that is another component. Why network, right? So once we understood why and what exactly it is, then we will be moving towards what? How exactly it is implemented. Right? So once we finish this why, what, and how, then we will be able to say that, okay, now we are aware about network, right? And this is what I consider it as in one particular, you can say minor topic under networking fundamental. Right? And later the another topic which will be we will be continuing, that will be the another topic where we need to discuss about each and every component of the network in depth, right? So when I say this is, so I can consider it as this is the first topic, network fundamental, and we're starting from here, we have this is 1.1, which is network, right? Within 1.1, these three small topics are there. Why network is required, what is network, and what are its components, and how exactly we are implementing this network. So this is what I consider it that we will be covering it in today's class, this, right? And then 1.2, if I say 1.2 will be the another topic, that another topic will be what? The components, depth of each component. When we say depth of each component, so we will be talking about, once I discuss the component, after that, what exactly is the physical medium which we use within the network. Then after that, we will have the another topic here inside this only, that is what the devices. So when we look at the devices, so devices are what? The switches, routers, hub, bridges. So we'll discuss each and every type of device and their iOS, right? The depth of each device. So once we'll cover the depth of each device, and then we will have the another major topic, that is what? 1.3, and that 1.3 will be the models which we need to discuss, that is what? TCP/IP and OSI. So this is what networking fundamental or network fundamental topic altogether. So it has, the major topic is network fundamental, and minor 3 topics are there: network, the components, and the models, right? So I can say here 1.2 is the components, right? And 1.3 is what? I can consider it as an what? Rules and regulations. And it has 1.3.1 as OSI, and this is as an TCP/IP. Right, so I'll share this with you so that you should know that after this class, what exactly is the next topic, what exactly is the other topic, so that maybe in case if it is required, you guys can pre-study it from your end, and then you can have a lot of questions from me to ask, right? And here we have 1.2.1 as in physical medium. And then we have 2.2. Here I can start writing as in what? Not only devices, I can say we will discuss first about NIC. Then we will discuss about switches. And then we will discuss about router. Right? So this is the first main topic from the exam point of view. Right? So here I'm sharing it with you guys. That is here in the chat window, so that you should also know that what exactly is our entire curriculum for the first part. Right? So almost it will take around, I can say that 1 hour, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 6 hours it will take to cover for entire this topics. And when I talk about the weightage from the exam, so it is around 15 to 20% of the questions comes into this particular topic in the exam. Right? So altogether, it will take 6 hours for me to cover this particular topic. And this is what the percentage which is there for the exam. When we look at the questions, the questions will come in the exam. So this much percentage of the exam will be covered from this particular topic. Any questions around this particular topic now? So what we discussed, that what exactly is the agenda for us to discuss in continuation with the next 6 hours of the class. Anything which you feel that I missed it and you expect that also to be the part of network fundamental? Maybe yes, maybe no.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. So I believe everybody is agreed that this is the perfect topic and the component which I have written it here. Okay, perfect. So I'm seeing that there are few. This is Tanmay. This is the actual class. This is the first day of the class. Yes, subnetting is also there, but the subnetting is coming as in further. There are not only two devices, but these two devices which we need to discuss in depth. So there
What
are
about IP
repeaters, there
addressing?
are hubs. So we'll talk about those also, but we will only having the overview of those devices. But in depth, when I say in depth, it means what exactly is the hardware architecture, what exactly is the software, how do we perform the configuration onto these devices. So that is the another part of the switch and router. So that's the reason I have only written switch and router, because we need to work in depth for the switch and router.
Ma'am, would the exam include protocol such as QUIC or just the TCP/IP?
Is in this particular, in the first topic of the exam, the TCP/IP, right? So then we have 6 topics, not only the first topics. So remember that, okay, in case if you guys are not aware, let me share once again the entire curriculum with you, which we need to cover. That is CCNA syllabus. Let me show you the syllabus, right? Just give me a second. I'll be sharing the entire syllabus with you guys, right? So that you will have complete detail of it.
Yes, ma'am. The last class you have shown already that I think most of the students doesn't know about that. So they are expecting this much, the only. So it is good if you show that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's the reason I thought of let me share the syllabus once again to you
That
guys.
will help more to all the students.
Right. Yes, thank you. So I believe now you have visibility of the screen. Can you see that CCNA exam version 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So when you look at here, so the first topic is network fundamental. Right? So if you see it here, it is giving you detailed architecture of this. Can you see? 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, right? 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, right? 1.8, 1.9, 1.10. Can you have a look at it? The complete, there are a lot of things which are there for me to cover. And
Yes,
when we look at
this
the
is the one.
weightage for this, it is what? It is telling you that 20%. Right? So I'll be covering each and every topic out of it. Okay. Just only the difference will be this, that we will be talking about access points when we will be looking at wireless devices altogether. What is wireless? When I'll explain you what is wireless communication, what are the ranges we use it. So what are the devices we use it at that moment, I'll cover the access points, right? And this is when we will be talking about the infrastructure, when we will be able to cover the basic IP addressing and everything. Then after that, I'll talk about controllers, because I need to explain you first what exactly is the controllers. Right? So out of this, these are the 2 topics which I'll not be touching in the initial first part. I'll be touching these topics later, once I'll be able to give you some idea from the basic fundamental. Okay, then all this we will be covering. Then all this we will be covering related to physical medium. Then all this we will be covering related to interfaces. We will be covering TCP UDP, right? And here comes about the IP addressing. So IP addressing, I'll take it as a separate class. So I'll not consider it as the part of what? The fundamental. After once we'll be able to cover the fundamental. After that, I'll reach to IP addressing. So IP addressing will be a dedicated class of around 4 hours. Right? So when I say 4 hours, you need not to sit for one day for 4 hours. So it will be in a parts. So one day we'll have around 1.5 hour class. Then next day we'll have 1.5 hour class. Then next day we'll have 1.5 hour class. So it will take around 1 week for us to cover Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Every day we will be talking about subnetting. So entire week we will be discussing about IP addressing, subnetting, IP addressing, subnetting. A lot of practice we will be doing it. Okay. And after covering the IP addressing, IPv6 I will cover later, right? Then after that, we will be talking about this verification. Then we will be reaching to this, the concept of switching. So I'll skip this 1.11. I'll skip this 1.12. I'll explain all this little later, right? So before that, we will cover this. The basics of switch, right? So here, if you will see, the router is not the part of this, but I will cover the router also here itself. So little modification I'll do it. Why I'll do that modification? So that it will give you better understanding. Okay. So let me see what are the questions. Yes, of course, I'll Tahir, I will share this. Okay. And Ram Singh, this is the batch where I need to teach in English, but in case if you need Hindi, तो हिंदी में भी मैं बता दूंगी बीच बीच में जहां जहां आपको लगेगा कि आपको हिंदी की जरूरत है तो मैं वहां पे हिंदी में भी बता दूंगी. Is it okay? Okay. And anyhow, Gaurav has written it. The Hindi wala batch is starting from 2nd Jan. Yes, Pradum, you have to pay the amount for this. So that's the reason there is an admission query available and you can go through with that admission query. So this will be a full paid course where we will be teaching you from 16 to 80 hours. Yes, Vijesh, I will share this PDF, even though you can download this PDF from Cisco website as well, because it's a Cisco certification program. So you can even though download, I can even though share direct link of Cisco, right? You can download it from there. So let me immediately share the link with you guys. Is it okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Tanmay, no, it's not necessary that you need to have CCNA certification, but you should have equivalent knowledge of CCNA certification to get a good job in the network industry. Faizan, that will be exam fee paid to Cisco, not to us. In case if you would like to go for the Cisco certification, so what you need to do, you need to pay the exam fee to Cisco. You can purchase a voucher from Pearson and then you can appear for the exam. Okay, we only charge for the training. And certification, as I told you, certification is not mandatory. It is an optional criteria for you to get a good job in the industry. Yes, of course, you can register for the exam. Yes, Rakesh, if you look at the syllabus, where I shared the link for the syllabus to you, you will be able to see the exam code as well. Right? So here you have the exam code as well. Yeah, there is an admission query number available to you. You can check there for the course fee. Anuj, you need to write down the skills which you have it. So once, like example, we are learning about the topics, so you can write down in your resume about the skills. Then they will extract your CV with the help of your skills. And then they will take your interview, and in the interview, in the first initial 5 minutes, they'll be able to judge that either you have those skills which you have written in your resume or you don't have those skills. Within immediate in the interview, within 5 seconds, they can judge.
And even ma'am, one thing I just want to discuss, guys, we have a requirement of 30 people in checkpoint. They guys are looking at checkpoint tech engineer basically with the knowledge of CCNA routing switching. Basic knowledge is required, like a CCNA level knowledge is required, and you'll share the resumes on our official email ID, the people who's interested for that, so that we can send your resume directly to the checkpoint.
Yes, Nehal, it is a very good course. In case if you would like to study networking, this is the course where every beginner start their studies. So it is a very good course for a beginner. Any another question? Pushkar, there are a lot of chances, like Gaurav just has suggested you that we are looking for 30 people. Yes, cybersecurity needs to have a basic understanding of networking. Piyush, you can check on the admission query number. Right, so here it is.
Ma'am, I'll take care for the question and all what.
Okay, should I continue?
Yeah, you'll continue with the technical things, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Gaurav. Okay, fine. So I hope you have seen that I've shared this syllabus with you guys. Should I continue with the topic now? Okay,
Yes, please,
perfect. Okay, thank you. So let me again come back to my notepad where we were talking about the topics, right? So as I told you that we will be starting with the network. Now, within the network, we need to first look at what? Why network is required. Can somebody tell me why network is required? So it's not this networking, which is technical term. Just think about social network. Why social network is required? What is the requirement of social network? We all are connected with social networking sites, right?
For communication.
Perfect. The purpose is communication. What is the purpose of it? The purpose is communication. So why do we would like to have communication?
To exchange data or information.
Perfect. To exchange information. Right? So this information, when we talk about this information in layman language, we even though call it what it is, data. So this information is what? It could be what kind of informations we have?
It could be
Emails or
data.
Sometimes we need to have what? Confidential information exchange. Sometimes we would like to have public information exchange. Sometimes we would like to have personal information exchange.
Personal information. Yes.
Right? So
Yes,
personal information which we would like to share only with our friends. Right? Public information which we can share it with everybody. Like somebody is doing what? A business, and they would like to share that business detail with everybody. Right? And personal detail, like something is personal to me and I would like to share it with my friends or with my brothers, sisters, or with my family, I would like to share. That is what my personal information, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Confidential information is what? Confidential information which I would like to keep it secret only with 1 or 2 people I would like to share, not even though with my entire family. Right? So these kind of, there are many type of informations available. So to have the exchange of information, we say the communication is required. To build the communication, we connect with the network, right? The same thing comes with what? The same thing is available with the digital era as well. So what is digital era? Where we are talking about computers, where we are talking about the devices. So not only the computer, where we are talking about the digital devices. So when we look at this digital devices, what are the digital devices available? Phones, right? Then after that, we use phones as well nowadays, right? Then we have what?
We got email or the exchange,
PDAs,
PBX.
right? PDAs. Then we have personal computers. Then we have laptops, right? A lot of devices we have it. With the help of these devices, we connect to the network. We connect to the network. And then from the network, we go with what? We look at communication. And while doing communication, we do what? We exchange the information. This is what the cycle goes in, right? So we are using, as a human being, we are using all these devices to connect to the network. And when we are connected with the network, we start our communication. And while doing communication, we exchange the information. Yes or no? So this is what layman, why network is required. Ultimate goal of the network is what? Exchange of the information. So what exactly is the role of, if I say why network is required, this is the reason, that's the reason network is required. Like when we look at the older time, in the older time, this task was done by a postman. If we need to exchange a thought from one location to another location, we used to write a letter and we used to send it via the post office, right? Nowadays also post office is there. But we think that the post office is working very slow, wherein within this digital era, everything is what? So quick, within seconds, fraction of seconds, you can send a message from one location to another location. Via Telegram, via WhatsApp, via email, there are many applications available. With the help of those applications, we send a message from one location to another location with fractions of seconds. So ultimate goal of the network, why network is required? Because we would like to have exchange of information, and that exchange of information also in what? In fraction of seconds. Quick transmission we need it. Right? So any question about why network is required? So if somebody is asking you why network is required, can you answer that?
Yes, we can answer.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Without
anyone
network,
would like to?
no communication.
If there is no network, no communication, no exchange of information.
Right, ma'am.
Right? So we get to know why network is required. Now, once we get to know why network is required, the another topic which we need to start, that is what exactly is the network? What is the network now?
Can you
What
repeat,
is the
ma'am?
network? Yes, please.
Can you say again? What was the question?
What is network?
Network is, we are getting connections of multiple devices. If we are talking about computer networking, to communicate from one distance to another distance by
Yeah.
using internet service, or inside the building also we can do with the help of Ethernet NIC card or something like that, which communicate PC to PC.
So I can say when we connect 2 or more than 2 nodes.
For that, I think, yeah, we can do that, ma'am. If we use devices like which helps you to connect multiple machines.
Right. So when we connect 2 or more than 2 nodes,
Yeah, we can say network
to have
communication.
exchange of information or communication.
Right.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is called as in what? It is called as a network.
Network. Yes.
Right. So when we get to know, okay, what is network? So let us now think about what are the things we needed to have it.
From hardware perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, we need we need a computer. We need internet connection. Yes, ma'am. Can you say again? What?
Yes, as in hardware. Continue,
yeah,
please.
Yeah, as in hardware, we need anything, a laptop or desktop, something, and to make communication, we have network connection.
So I can say the nodes are required, right?
Yes, you can say that.
Right. And
Yes,
when we look at the nodes, what are the nodes?
It could be your internet connection modem.
All these devices?
Yeah,
Phones,
all these devices.
PDAs, PCs,
yes.
laptops, all these devices.
Everything which can provide you communication, that I can say.
In network terms, what we call them? We call them
network
end devices.
End devices. Okay. Thank you,
right? What is this? These all are end devices. In terms of hardware, whenever we need to build a network, we call it what? It is end device. Why we call it end device? Because this end device will be generating the information, will be used by an administrator. And I can say that administrator is what? The human being. Because we are responsible to generate the information. So that's the reason we call it what? It is the end device. We get the access of this end device, then we generate the information. And once the information is generated, after that, we are sending that information to someone else. Like example, if I need to say hello to you, so what I'll do? I need to have my end device. On that end device, I will type hello, and then I will click send button, and that information will be sent to all of you. Right? So who has generated that information? Is that computer or end device has generated? No. We as a human being has generated the information, and then we pass that information to end device, and then end device is responsible to further pass it to other end devices. Okay. So this is the end device, the nodes. Then we would be needing what? As in hardware, we would need some set of servers. Right? Now, what is servers? Servers are also similar to end devices, but they are having high processing power rather than the end devices. Okay. So end devices, I will keep a note over here, and I will start writing about end devices. What is end device? It is the last endpoint, right? I'm writing last as well as end, both, right? It is the last or endpoint of the network. Responsible for generation to generate information. And that is the same information which exactly we need to share, right? So what is server further? Right? Server, it is having high processing power than the end device. Right? Now then what exactly is the difference between server and this end device? So we need to have a look at that, right? So I'll show you all the end devices, right? So let me share my screen with you. So I believe now you guys can see my browser, right? I'm on
Yes.
Google, right?
Yes.
So I'm
ma'am.
writing here, first thing is what? Phones, everybody is aware what is phone, right? So there might be possibility personal phones, everybody is aware, PDS, everybody is aware. Let me show you personal computer, right? And we will have a look at the image of personal computer. Can you see the personal computer? So this is the personal computer, which is from the Dell, right? Can you see that this is, I can show you this as an personal computer, this one. So this one will be all-in-one personal computer. So it has CPU, it has monitor, it has input, output devices, right? So this is what the personal computer. Now we'll have a look at what the server. Can you see server? The servers are hosted there in the
Yes.
data centers,
center.
right? Servers. So you can think about, this is also look like as a personal computer only. But these are what? So you can see it. So this is a person who is inserting this one server in the rack,
Yes.
right? So these are
Right
the
one.
servers. So they are small in size, but they have high processing power. When we talk about this high processing power, what exactly this high processing power is?
CPU.
So let me, yes, perfect. So let me come back now to my notepad again. And so what exactly is the high processing power when we talk about it? We are talking about CPU, we are talking about memory,
Yes.
right? We are
Capacity.
talking about
RAM.
memory is the RAM only. So let me write technical word RAM. And then we are talking about the hard drive, which is storage,
Yes.
right? So these three are the main component, right? And very important component when we talk about networking, that is what? NIC, network interface card. So network interface card is also having high processing power to transmit the data quickly or with higher speed or higher transmission rate. So this is the difference between end device and server, right? So when we have the high processing power for the server, it means it will generate more heat. So it needs more cooling power. So that's the difference between end device and the server, right? So this is the main, you can say that hardware, which we would be looking at, right? As to connect to the network. Then the next we look at the another type of hardware, which we need to have it. That is what? The network devices. Network devices, right? So now what is network devices? We need to look at that. So when we look at network devices, there are various network devices available. So initially started with repeaters.
Hub, switch.
Right, perfect. Then with hub,
Switch.
then with switch.
Router.
Then initially the switch was layer 2 switch,
Yes.
right? Then it was Layer 3 switch.
Multi-layer.
Yes, layer 3 switch. Then the another switch came in as in what multi-layer, which has the functionality of layer 2 as well as layer 3. So we started calling it what? Multi-layer switch.
Multi-layer switch.
Right? Multi-layer switch. Right? Then we have another device called as in what? Router. Right? Then we have another device called as in what? Firewall. Right?
Yes.
Then we have another device called as in what? Load balancer. Who will balance the load? Right? Firewall
Yes.
to filter the data packets. Right?
Traffic.
Then after that, we have another device that is known as an WLC, wireless controllers. Right? Before the wireless controllers, we have another device which is similar to switch here.
No.
That is what? Access point.
AP. Yeah.
Yes, AP, access point. Right? So this WLC and access points are for the wireless network, and L2 switch and multi-layer switch, these are the wired network connectivity. Right? So these are another type of hardware we have it. So whenever we talk about the network components, so what are the network component? The first network component is what? The hardware devices which we require, right? Within the hardware, the nodes which we needed. When we talk about the nodes, so we might need AND devices, we might need servers, we would need network devices, right? And then we would need what? Physical cables to have the connectivity. Right? So when we look at physical cables, there are different type of physical cables comes in. So initially when we call it the cable, so we say the copper cable or the fiber cable. Right? So when we look at copper cable, within the copper cable, there are various cables are in. Right? When we look at fiber, there are various cable within the fiber as well. Right? So within the copper cable, the popular cable which we use to connect to the network devices, we call it what? Any idea?
86.
Twisted pair cable. Right? And this twisted pair cable comes in shielded twisted pair or unshielded twisted pair. Right? So shielded twisted pair or unshielded. The most common which is used, that is what? Unshielded. Unshielded twisted pair, and we in the short form we call it what? UTP cable. Unshielded twisted pair. Right? So, and then we talk about its categorization, that somebody has correctly said it is Cat6, the categorization of your unshielded twisted pair cable. Similar way, when we look at the fiber, within the fiber there are single mode fiber,
Multi-mode.
and multi-mode fiber.
ते पाठशाळेत तुम्हाला विकत काय आणलं तर तुम्ही हे तिथून 4,500 लागेल म्हणजे त्यांनी दिलं का आपल्याला ते विकत आणायला लागलं ते हाताला लावायचं
नाही काय आणलं.
आपल्याला नाही लावायला.
So single mode fiber or multi-mode fiber. So these are the physical cables which we use to connect to the network. Right? So I'll show you the diagram now about these cables. What exactly, how it looks, unshielded twisted pair cable, how exactly single mode cable or multi-mode cable looks like. So let me go back again to my browser, and we will have a look at the image of unshielded twisted pair cable. Right? So can you see this cable? Right? So how many cables are inside this one particular jacket? There are 8 cables.
Yeah.
Right? And all these 8 cables, when you look at this particular diagrams, it is twisted with a pair of 2. Right? 2 cables combined together, it becomes one pair, and there are 4 pairs of twisted cable inside one jacket. right? Here in this diagram, you can see that two separate cables, then they are twisted together into the jackets. So altogether, when we look at it, what these are 8 cables, and we call it what it is, UTP unshielded twisted pair cable.
How we can know this one straight cable or
Yes, straight cable and cross cable. How do we
cross cable?
create
Yeah,
straight
how we can-
cable? How do we create cross cable? We will study about those. Right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm telling you, that today it's just initial part. So it is just an overview, and then later we will move in the depth of each component.
No, I can know, ma'am. Through color coding, we can know. No. That's I'm
Yes,
asking.
through color coding also. There are numbers allocated to it. The straight cable is what? The color which we have decided will keep in one end same color, and the second end also the same color. What is the first end and second end? 2 end points of the cable.
Okay.
Okay. So if we are keeping the same color, then it is what? The straight cable. But if we are twisting the colors, so I'll tell you that there are 2 colors which we twist. Right? So I'll let you know that which color we twist. How do we create straight cable? How do we create cross cable? I'll teach you that.
Okay.
Okay. So don't worry about that. I'll move in depth of each topic. Today just I'm sharing the overview of everything so that now you are aware these are the topics which we need to cover.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we need to look at what? The fiber cable, right? So
Yes.
single mode fiber cable. Right? Here, when you look at it, what it is, the optic cable. So it means optical signals are. So if you look at it, what here it is, this is the exact figure of it. So it has one single core, right? Then on the top of it, it is having what? The multiple components, so that the signal should not come out. So there is a cladding, there is a buffer, and then the outer jacket comes in. How this cladding and buffer looks like? It looks like this. Right? Why I have not shown this initially? Because it doesn't have single mode. It has multi-mode inside. Right? So this is the cladding. Yes. This is the buffer, and then this is the outer jacket. Yeah. Right? Perfect. So you get to know what exactly is the optical fiber cable, what exactly is what your twisted pair cable, right? So when we look at the fiber cables, to establish the network, initial network or basic network where we are connecting the endpoints, so we say that single mode fiber, or we say Ethernet fiber cable. Ethernet fiber cable, right? So when we look at Ethernet fiber cable, it is this. This is the Ethernet fiber cable, right? So you can say this is the Ethernet fiber cable. So you will be able to see that how thin it is, right? Nowadays, even though when we get the broadband connection, so we get this Ethernet fiber cable, where we have 5G connections, like Airtel is providing 5G connections, right? So we have this like this way that they are providing the connectivity through the modem. So this is the twisted pair, wherein this is what the fiber cable, right? So this is the twisted pair and this is the fiber. So it is so thin. So this is the Ethernet fiber cable. Right?
So would you elaborate this cable or
I'm not able to hear you. So Tanmay, generally Can somebody tell me what they are asking? So don't worry that I'll be moving in depth of each cable. So right now, just I'm giving you overview so that I can cover this, the basic fundamental one. So as I told you that we need to move forward. For every component, we need to go in the depth. So here I'll come on to what? The depth of physical mediums.
Maybe Tanmay is asking LCST cables, something like that.
Oh, okay.
For the fiber patch cords.
For the fiber. So no worries, Tanmay. So we will be discussing over here the depth. So right now we are in which topic? Right now we are here in this particular topic. So right now I'm just giving you an overview of it. Okay. So when I'll reach to this topic in the next class, maybe, so then we will cover the physical medium, each and every detail of the physical medium. Okay. How do we build crossover cable? How do we build straight cable? What are the differences? What are the categorization? What are the standards? Those they are available for these cables that we'll be talking about. Okay. So now after this, the physical medium, right? The next component which we need to look at it here, that is the software components. Right? So what are the software components? Does anybody is having any idea? In terms of software, what are the components we would need?
I think OS, operating system.
Perfect. Operating system?
Yes.
So which operating system?
Applications. It depends on the platform which you're using, either Windows or Linux or.
Perfect. So operating system will be of end devices. Operating system will be of servers. Operating system will be of network devices. So for every device, there will be an operating system available, right? So when we look at it, what the operating system of AND device? What is the operating system of AND device? As said by, it could be what? Initially, it was
Windows or
it was DOS.
Initially DOS, yes. First.
Then after that, Unix, right? Then after that, Linux.
Server, Windows Server.
Right? And then after that, Windows. Right? Nowadays, currently, which version of Windows you guys are using?
11.
Windows 11, right? I forget to write Mac.
Yeah, Mac also iOS.
Right? Perfect. So Windows 11. So Windows 11 is the popular one, right? Similar way, when we look at the OS of servers, there are OS of servers as well.
Ma'am, did you share screen? No, not bad.
No? Okay, let me share it. I'm writing it on over the notepad. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So here I have written first initially the software component. Within the software component, the operating system, right? And then we look at it, what operating system of end devices. Right? The popular one nowadays is what? Windows 11, right? Then operating system of servers. Before even though moving on operating system of servers, if it is phone or PDAs, then what is the operating system which we use? Android.
Android, yeah.
Yes. Android for the most of the phones. Yes.
Yes.
So further, the operating system of servers. So for the servers as well, Unix, Linux, Windows, Mac, all are the popular one. All are the popular one. And within the Windows, if we need to say server, which server is the popular server nowadays? Operating system?
2019.
2019,
Yeah.
perfect.
Windows.
Yes, Windows 2019.
Under Linux maybe.
Windows Server 2019, right? Similar way, when we look at the network devices, every network device, they also have the operating system. Every network device. So be it my network device is what?
Repeater, hub,
Repeater,
switch.
hub, switch, access points. So some of the devices, they have only the firmware. And some of the devices, they have fully operating system. Full operating system. Okay. So some of the devices, like if I talk about the access point, it has only firmware. If I talk about hub, it has only firmware, right? So some of the devices, they have only the firmware. What is the firmware?
It is also OS version.
It's a software.
Upgrades, latest upgrades, whatever.
Yes,
For
it's a
actually
software, right? But we cannot fully customize it. It gives us very less options to configure. Right? And wherein full operating system, if we talk about, it gives you a lot of option to have the customization. We cannot configure every feature within the firmware, wherein with the full operating system, we can configure a lot of things. So the other example, that is what the another software, which was correctly said by somebody, that is what the applications. So if we have firmware, we don't have much of the applications available to install over the firmware, wherein in the operating system, we can install a lot of applications. Like example, on the Android operating system, how many applications are available on the Play Store? If you go there in the Google Play, how many applications you have it? Have you ever counted applications? How many applications are available? Can somebody check in your phone?
And numbers, ma'am, so many.
So
Not
many. Even though if I say that I need to download a game, or even though if I say I need to download an Excel, so I will be able to get a lot of publishers, those they are publishing those applications. So same application is delivered by many vendors. N number of application, N number of vendors are available. But still those everything is compatible with my device, right? Is there any by chance you have seen that your phone is not compatible with any application which is available on Google Play Store?
No, everything works.
Everything is
Yes.
compatible. Everything is compatible. And that is the another feature which we needed to bring the compatibility in. What exactly is that feature? We call it what? Standards or rules, right? So that is the another component. And those standards and rules are governed by a model, and we call that model as OSI model. What is OSI? That is Open System Interconnect. Right? So it is Open System Interconnect. It is a model which is initially shared by a standardization authority. And what is that standardization authority? That is ISO. International Standard Organization. Please, if I do some spelling mistake, because my objective is towards to give you information. Sometimes while writing, spelling mistakes comes in. Please excuse for that. International Standard Organization. Right? So this is the authority who has shared this OSI model. And what exactly is the objective of this model? To bring in interoperability. Or we can say that compatibility. Right? My device is compatible with every application. My device is interoperable with every application. Why it is so? Because of this particular model, because of this particular standard, right? How? Because of this particular standard, because those are the manufacturer of all these components, be it is hardware, be it is physical cables, be it software. Every manufacturer is following this particular model or this particular standard so that devices are compatible with each other. Until the time a manufacturer has not properly followed the standard, that device will not be compatible with network and we will not be able to connect that device with the network. Like example, when we look at the Mac, Apple, there are challenges with the Apple, right? Yes, have you heard about there are some challenges with the Apple? The reason behind it, because they use their own proprietary standards. They are governing, they are based on ISO, but for few of the things they follow their own standards. That's the reason for the Mac sometimes we get the interoperability and compatibility challenges.
Yes.
Right? So that's what about the network components. Let me know about, in case if you have any queries, what I taught you about that. But in case if you would like to go in the depth, we will be covering in the upcoming class the depth of each thing. Anything which you would like to ask here? So should I consider it as no?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So in case if no, then I can see that why network is required and what exactly is the network and its components. We are aware about it, right?
Yes.
Right? So we have seen today a lot of components. Just as an overview, we have seen that hardware components, we have seen the physical medium or physical cables component, we have seen the software components, and then we have seen the standards and rules. Right? So these all are the components. And we need to talk about each and every component in detail in the next upcoming class. So till the time you will not be able to understand each and every component, it will be very difficult for you to implement a network. Right? So while implementing the network, we need to know which cable we need to use. How do we prepare that cable? Which end device I should use? Which network device I should use? What is the role of the hub? What is the role of the switch? Why I'm using layer 3 switch? Why I'm not using layer 2 switch? Why I'm using a router? Right? So before implementing the network, the next thing is what you need to know about all these components in detail. And once you are aware about, then we will be talking about the implementation. And while implementing the network, we need to take care of few more things, right? What are few more things apart from these detail of the components? We need to know about other details. What are the other details? The other details are, while implementing, what exactly is the topology which we use it? What is topology? The topology is layout of the network. Right?
Hello,
So
ma'am.
when we talk about this layout of the network, we say it is what? It is the bus style. It is the star style, right? Bus style, it means what? We are keeping all the devices in a linear format. Right? What is the star? Within the star, we are keeping what? The device in the form of what? One device as a central device and all other are connected with the central. Right? So that's the way the star central format. So bus topology, star topology, right? Mesh topology, where everything is connected with each another. Perfect mesh topology. Everything is, right? So within the mesh, it comes fully mesh, hybrid mesh, right? So we will be talking about the topologies, right? So when we look at the topologies, while even though looking at the topologies or layout of the network, we say that topologies are of two types. One is physical, how the physical layout will be there. The another one is what? The logical. So physical is what? The physical layout. Logical is how the data will transfer. Right? How the data will transfer. Logical is data transfer layout. Right? From which device the data will go to the next device, then to the next device, then to the next device, and then it will reach to the end destination. So that is what the logical topology is, right? Further, after knowing about the logical topologies, then we need to know further that what configuration we perform while having the connectivity or while implementing the network. Configuration of the devices. Right? So while doing the configuration, we generally used to say that we need to have the first thing is what? We need to allocate a name to the device. Right? After allocating the name, we need to allocate an IP address to the device. Right? After allocating the IP address, we need to say that what is the exit gate for a device so that it can transmit the data out. And that exit gate is known as an what? The gateway. Gateway IP address. So these are the important things which we configure when we would like to bring a device on the network. Where exactly we perform this configuration? How do we configure it? Right? Either we do the manual configuration, we do the automatic configuration to bring a network device or onto the network. So this is what the implementation stage comes in. So implementation stage composed of what? Topologies and the configurations, right? So this is what I can say that an overview of my first topic, which is their network, as in why network is required, what exactly is the network and what are its components and how exactly we are implementing it, right? So to implement this network, what we would be needing it, we would need to know that in which topology diagram we need to implement this network, how physically it look like, and how exactly it is transferring the data. And then after that, while when I'm connecting these devices, what configuration I need to do it onto these devices. Right? So we do the configuration of a name, we do the configuration of an IP address, we do the configuration of the gateway, how exactly it will be sending the data out to the gateway. So first we need to understand what is IP address, what is the naming convention, what is gateway, so that once we get to know these things, depth of each detail, and then we will be doing what? We'll be starting the implementation of the network. Right? So this is just as a fundamental overview of it. Now, in the next class onwards, what we need to do? We need to talk about the depth of each component. Depth of each component. And once we'll be able to learn the depth of each component, you can say that we need to start from here. Right? So first thing which we'll be learning in the next class, that will be what? The standard and rules. We'll be talking about OSI model, right? And then after OSI model, we'll be talking about the TCP IP model. So while learning OSI and TCP IP, we will be learning all these components while learning TCP IP and OSI only. So I'll be talking about layers, on which layer which device is working, what cable comes in, what components comes in. So everything will be the part of this OSI and TCP IP only. So this is what my next class topic, which we need to talk about. Right? And that's wherein we will be reaching in the depth of each things. So once we are reaching in the depth, we will be able to implement the network. And once we will be able to implement the basic network, I can say that my first topic is over, which is what? Networking fundamental. So I told you that it will take around what? Around 6 hours. So at least I would be needing what? Next 3 more classes to cover this. Is it okay? Any questions now?
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
So is it was useful?
Should we discuss LLD and HLD in later class or?
HLD or LLD is not the topic of CCNA, but in case if you need it, I can discuss it. But before knowing HLD or LLD, you should learn at least few classes of CCNA.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yes, it is not the topic of CCNA, but I can explain you that.
Ma'am, can you tell a backbone switch?
Yes, of course. I'll be talking. That's the reason I've written it here, multi-layered switches.
Okay.
So backbone switches are the part of ISP, right? So when we will be learning this switches, just in case if I forget, you just remind me. I will talk about each type of switch.
Okay.
Okay. What is their role? What kind of model numbers are there? Yes, please. Somebody was saying something.
Yeah. What about multi-port server? Is it some type of server or what?
It's a server which is having multiple NICs.
Sorry, again.
It's a server which is having multiple NICs. Better is what? Let me show it to you here. You will be able to understand better. Oh, sorry, I've not shared it. Let me share it. So what I did here, I just wrote here on the Google multi-port server, right? Okay. So then we went to what? Images. So when we went to images, can you have a look at it? What this is? This is the PowerEdge server from the Dell, right? Yes. So how does it has multi-port? So can you have a look at this Ethernet card? So the NIC which is installed there in the server, that NIC is having what? Multi-ports.
Two Ethernet connections.
No, card is one, but one card is having multiple port.
Okay, okay. So, ma'am, in that
Just
case,
I have, because what I have seen just now, because I was working on one of the sites, I found it, because we were having 3 servers. They give it the name, means for example, they give the name, this is server A, server B, and in between they put it multi-port server. All of the servers is having means redundant Ethernet port, 2 redundant Ethernet port, and 4 extra Ethernet port was there. So by physical look, it is same. I just want to know, maybe I think there is some configurations on that basis they give it multi-port or what?
No, only on this basis they call it what multi-port.
Well, all of the servers are having same. The one which you are showing, the physical, there's no any physical differences among the servers. All servers are equivalent, specification same, everything has same. But on the basis of configuration, they are giving the name it multi-port server.
So that is, maybe that particular server is connected with multiple exit point. That's the reason they have given it the name as a multi-port server.
Which I believe, because I don't have much information, but what I see on that observation I'm saying, because that is what they have made, primary servers, secondary servers. And in between they put this multi-port server. I think this is acting as a switching between primary and secondary servers, like this.
And that's what I wanted to draw, and I wanted to show you that this is what the middle server, right? I believe you can see it, right? I'm drawing the drawing. Right? So this is what your server A, right? Which may be primary, holding the role of primary, right? This is because every organization, they have different rules and regulations, right? This is a server B, maybe holding the role of secondary, right? So it is also having multi-port to send the traffic out.
Yes.
Right? It is also having multi-port to send the traffic out.
Yes.
But these multi-ports are connected how? These multi-ports will be connected to this device only. Right? So these 3 ports are from server A, wherein this is also connected to this device only. Right? And then this device would be connected to another gateway, which will be sending connectivity out. Right? So this is from server A, this is from server B. But when I look at it here, it has only 3 things. Right? So here, let me change the color and show you something else. So this part, or from here, this part is going to this link. Right?
Yeah, but at a time only one will be working because both are primary.
Yes, at a time one will work. Similar way, when we look at here, let me change the second port of this, and the second port of this will be reaching to this. At a time only one will work, whosoever will be holding the role of primary. Similar way here, the third port from here and the third port from here will be sending out traffic to this. Right? But at a time only one will work. So like this way, when the configuration is there, who is actually holding the multi-port? This is holding the multi-port.
Yeah, it will be. I will also go through the drawings.
Yes,
you can. One more time.
Yes, you can go through with the drawing. There might be possibility. This is just my suggestion that it will be like this.
Ma'am, I have a quick question.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. I have a scenario that I have around 10 servers with connected with unmanaged switch, and I have three unmanaged switch, and one is the uplink, which is providing IP from certain range like 10.195, and the rest of the two unmanaged IPs, switches are connected like our regular Ethernet connection coming from server to the internet switch, where I'm getting 10.195, and after that another Ethernet connection like another NIC card in the same server, all 10 servers, two Ethernet connections. So another Ethernet connection is going to like 5 connections going to one second switch and 5 going to the third switch, and from there it is going to the chambers. So all are working fine except one machine is giving getting APIPA IP. So we cannot figure out why this is giving, because all the systems are having the same connectivity except this machine is giving the error.
So generally, why the APIPA IP is there?
It should be some VLAN is not properly configured for that, but all are connected with the same unmanaged switch, means all are working on the same VLAN. So I don't think it's the issue with the VLAN. So
see, APIPA is what?
It's
when you have
okay.
configured DHCP services in your network and DHCP server is unable to allocate an IP address.
Right, perfect.
Right. So it
Yes.
means either your device is not recognized by that server is not recognized by DHCP server, or there might be possibility on that server DHCP services is stopped.
Oh, okay. Got an answer.
Okay.
Yeah. So means we need to check on the services, DHCP
services and of the server. There might be possibility DHCP services not running, or maybe that goes under halt. You need to just restart that service.
Okay. Is that possible, ma'am? In this kind of thing happen?
Yes.
If rest of the 9 is working and only one is giving error, then services might affect. Okay.
Yes, it is possible. So it is not only DHCP, it is the service which is available on that particular server.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay,
Got
perfect.
Thank you so
because
much.
you need to check up when it is saying APIPA. First, you check why APIPA IP is there, because DHCP is not running. It means the fault is not related to server. The fault is related to DHCP services.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So you need
Thank
to check
so
if
much.
all other servers are getting the IP, only one server is not getting it, means you need to check that server connectivity. Server NIC is working fine. Try to allocate
There is no
manual
Ethernet
IP.
But there is no Ethernet NIC card issue, right? For that machine?
There might be possibility. You need to check the NIC card also.
Okay. I was assuming that there is an issue with the NIC.
Right. There might be possibility that sometimes NIC card is that's the reason I'm telling you need to check by allocating a manual IP to that server first and try it has connectivity with other devices or not, and then move further.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Ma'am, can I have a question, ma'am?
Yes, please.
I think you will cover these also, but just for confirmation, I was working with one of my project, and I was installing a server. That server was based on automation server. The type of server was automation server. So it was the option was coming like enterprise server and standard servers. So this type of topics you'll cover.
This is the topic of not the network topic. This is the topic of server installation. So in case if you are learning the Windows server, then you need to learn the Windows server installation. So it is installation of operating system is not there in the network. So within the network, we will be talking about the network operating systems.
Okay.
We have a different course for for this for server, that is MCSA.
Okay, got it.
Ma'am, would you cover the limitation of this unmanaged switch and managed switch, because I have faced an issue with this in one.
Yes, of course, we will be covering. Yes. We'll be covering the switches.
Yeah. Because the way, because what I heard, because it has given me also one information. The guy before, one of our colleagues were talking about VLAN configuration in unmanaged switch. I think he was telling.
Yes.
Yeah, because that where I was working, that guy, because I was not knowing anything networking, they told there is no possibility of VLAN configuration in unmanaged switch. That's why I want to know more about these things. What are the limitations in managed and unmanaged switch?
Of course, we will be covering.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Whoever talking this point, the issue is whoever tells you we don't, configure on unmanaged switch the VLAN. It is there is upper and the higher end switch on the top of unmanaged, and there we have configured the VLAN, and that port we are using for the unmanaged switch. So this how we are getting the same VLAN for all the ports, right, ma'am?
So yes, right. So don't worry, we will be covering all the layers of the switches: managed, unmanaged,
Yeah, that will be
access
very,
layer,
very
core
good.
layer, every layer we will cover.
It will be good for us to know more
Thank
about
you
it.
so much. I'm just clearing for him to be,
Yes. So
covered
don't
here.
worry, we will be covering everything
Thank you.
related to the switches.
Thank you, ma'am. Really appreciate.
Okay then. So should we summarize it here itself?
Sure.
Yes, please, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay then. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye for today. And we'll be connecting now for the next class.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.